Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Music Lab podcast. My name is Dogg, and I am here with Vinny Sky from the band Dead West. Welcome, Vinny.
How's it going out there?
So, Dead West, you guys are from Phoenix, Arizona. You started you started the band in 2014, but like you said, you didn't get really started until 2017. Talk about that, transformation as a band.
Well, in 2014, I decided I was going to get back into the music business. I took a long hiatus for a while after my daughter was born and raised her and everything, and I decided I wanted to get back into it. And I took some time and I started playing with some different people, trying to get something going. Some people fell short, other people didn't quite make the cut, by 2017, I had a lead guitar player. His name was Jimmy Ellis, and he was just recovering from cancer surgery. So it was kind of a trial, for him for a little bit. Right in the middle of 2017, his cancer came back. So I brought in a lead guitar player from Canada. He was really good. He was good kid. And I brought in a rhythm guitar player to kind of take over Jimmy's spot because he wasn't, able to perform. So once I had that, I kind of brought in a friend of mine to play bass and another friend of mine to do the drums. And we started working on the material and getting everything set up. And our very first show at the end of 2017 was opening up for Lita Ford. So, which was kind of awesome. So it kind of picked up from there. So the five of us, we went out there and we kind of killed it. And our next show is opening up for Mick Brown from Dawkins. And our next one after that was Jack Russell's Great White, and what a great thing to do because he's always been a big, like one of my favorite singers. And I met him back in like 90, 91 in Pittsburgh, and he gave me some pointers on throat tea. So, which I still use today. So when I met him at that show and got to open up for him, I told him that, which was really cool. So right after that, we actually did a mini tour with Jack Russell's Great White, and it kind of boomed from there. So 2017 started, and 2018 was show after show after show after show. So we did a lot of shows in 2018, which was really good, and into 2019. So it was fun.
So, what do you remember about that first show opening up for Lita? And did she give you? Did she know that it was your first show? Did she give you any words of
I
advice?
don't think she knew it was our first show, but as a band, I mean, some of the guys were nervous, but for me, I always used to get nervous when I was younger. When I would get up on stage and stuff, and I was always have those butterflies. But for some reason, I walked on that stage with, and it was so like surreal, and everything went away, and it just an awesome show. It was so fun, and it was just I felt like I was home again.
Home is on the stage, right, in front of all those people.
Yeah, I mean it was quite interesting because the club or the venue that we were playing at, they had a pool right in the middle. And so there was like maybe from the front of the stage to the pool, maybe about 15 feet. So sometimes somebody would end up in the pool, but
Life of a rock star, right?
well, I didn't end up in the pool.
Right.
It might
Yeah.
have been those drunk people there. So
The fans. Yeah. So you have been doing tattoos or a tattoo artist for 22 years. Is that correct?
no, actually 30 years.
30 years.
Yeah.
And you just
I
recently
yeah.
got that? Yeah.
So what I did was after this tour that we did for Rocklahoma, I I've been like I do a lot of things. I mean, I'm not just don't have my hat in one thing or my hands in one thing or whatever. I wear many hats. So, but being a tattoo artist for 30 years, the industry has changed so much. And I sat down with my wife and I talked to her about it. And I was just like, I'm just done. I just don't want to do it anymore. But I still work in the industry. I just don't do tattoos anymore. So I might occasionally do a guest spot here and there, but that'll probably be, when I get the anchor in for it.
Yeah. So how do you fill a void that will be left without doing that? Because it's been such a big part of your life, right?
Well, yeah, it has. Actually, like I said, I'm still in the industry, and right
Right.
now, I'm working for a company that they sell tattoo supplies, and I'm just a sales rep for them. So that's what I do. So I kind of get a steady paycheck instead of going, I hope I can eat dinner tonight. So I'm tired of, hey, honey, we're gonna have top ramen this week.
I mean, it's bad enough being a rock star or being in a band, right? Yeah.
Right.
Then you're being a tattoo artist as well. You
Yeah.
might as well be a bartender as well and carry it out, right?
Well, I could do that if I wanted to, but I'm also a cook. Actually, I'm making paella today for my wife and her friends. So that's kind of my outlet, kind of thing. I like to cook a lot of different things. So
Well, I can appreciate a man with many hats because for me, I was in the hotel business for 22 years as a hotel manager. And then in 2019, I just decided, you know what, I'm done with this. So now I'm a trivia host, I bartend, I own a clothing company, I do this podcast. So I
yeah,
feel you, man. You can't have just all your eggs in one basket anymore.
yeah. I make my own beanies. I have my own beanie company. It's called Headgear Beanie Company. I take
I saw it.
recycled like rock shirts and stuff and turn them into beanies, which are really cool.
Yeah.
They're on our Dead West site, deadwest.rocks. You can go check some of them out. When I first launched it, quite a few years ago, I mean, my first batch went so fast it wasn't even funny. I was like, "Whoa, man, I gotta start making some more." So it's getting that time of year, and I got to sit down at the old sewing machine again and start doing that. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot of graphic arts and stuff like that too. Build websites for people, and so I keep myself pretty busy.
Well, that's a good segue because I wanted to talk about your album covers because they are phenomenal. Do you do them?
Yes,
Kudos, my friend. It's
I really like the last one. Came out
yeah,
really. Die Like a Rebel was really cool. So I had a lot of
yes,
fun with that one. So
yeah, agree.
and making those into scrims and making them blown up and shirts and stuff. So I mean, it was really fun and a lot of people really like that. So
Well, and nowadays for bands, as you're not making money on your album sales. It's merchandise and touring. So I mean, if you can
yes,
really have shirts that pop and
yeah,
you know that definitely has to benefit you guys.
yeah. So yeah, merch is a big thing, because you don't make money off streaming service. I mean, it takes a while. I mean, and a lot of people are like, they don't make money off of Spotify, but I look at my accounts every day and I actually make more money off of Spotify than I do off of anything else. So I mean, it's just kind of what everybody's listening to, and Spotify is pretty much dominating everything at this point. So and some of the other companies aren't doing as well.
Yeah, that's kind of who I use. That's who I pay my subscription for. I just feel like
Yeah,
from a song selection, from just a interface, it just I don't know. And for the podcast too, it just makes the most sense. So
yeah.
I'm with you on that. So let's talk about the music. So when you started the band, what was your vision for the sound? I like because for me, like I hear, sometimes I hear 80s, like 80s rock. I hear ZZ Top. I hear, like Metallica, you guys, is that deliberate or is that just kind of organic, how it kind of comes out?
It is pretty much organic because it was everybody's influence on how something sounds.
Hmm.
Generally, when Jimmy Ellis was writing some of the material, which we still have a few songs that we haven't released from Jimmy just yet. We did play one at Rocklahoma for him, and you know, but there's a couple other songs that off the first record that he actually wrote. Like he helped write My Tennessee, and which was a big thing. And then when it comes down to Crossroads, a new lead guitar player at that time, he wrote the riff for that.
Okay.
So when you have that mixture of Jackal meets Ted Nugent, is it's what it is.
Yeah.
Because that was our most recent thing. Everybody said, man, it's like Ted Nugent and Jackal mashed together. It's like just freaking raw rock and roll. I mean, because you don't, I mean, we've opened up for Jackal, and if you've ever been to a Jackal show, it's probably one of the best. And if you've ever been to a Ted Nugent show, it's getting the same thing. It's just like, it's just pure rock and roll energy, just having fun. So that's kind of how our perspective on writing stuff, over polished stuff. I mean, or doing, let's add this, let's add that. I mean, if we can't do it live, we won't put it on the record. So we want to be that type of band. We do it the way it should be done. you know
So do you, when you've recorded the songs that you have on Spotify, have they been first takes then, or not necessarily?
the first record literally took 3 years to actually get done,
Oh
because
wow.
we
Let's
started
talk
it.
about that.
We started it, and the drummer that was in the band at one point was helping us put it together, and then he got released because when we all agree on something, it should stay that way, and he decided he was going to go a different way and kind of screw things up. So I basically just told him, I said, you can't do that. You have to kind of work with what everybody's doing. And he threw a major hissy fit. So I was like, bye. I don't take crap from anybody. I mean, I want everybody to pull their weight. So then in turn, which put the record back a little bit. So by time we got to release that record in 2018, Jimmy was already to the point to where he was failing. And he didn't come to, we had a CD release party for that record, and he was supposed to make it for that record, and he died like 3 weeks later. So he got to hear the record. He got to be put on the, I mean, there's bits and pieces of his parts still on there, that we kept for those purposes, for him. So it was just kind of really heartwarming, but it did take us like 3 years to pull that one off. It was just ups and downs, and everything changed. And in the middle of that, I did a CD for just Jimmy, where he played on everything, and we put all his parts together to make it sound cohesive. And I wrote all the lyrics and the melodies and stuff, and then I did the whole record. And I was like, so in the middle of that, I did a different record. So it was interesting, because I had a lot of his friends play on that record with us, and then we released that, and then he passed away. So it kind of missing, so.
Yeah. So have you thought about doing or writing a song about him, like posthumous?
Actually, Long Hard Road is his song.
Oh, okay, okay,
Because basically, when that's why that album came out, and it's called
okay,
Long Hard Road. So that song is definitely about him.
okay.
If you listen to that record, Heaven's Full of Angels is about Chris Cornell, because the guitar player that was playing with us at the time, him and I sat down like 2 hours later after Chris Cornell passed, and we wrote that song. So it came out really cool. So yeah, there was a lot of interesting stuff that happened on that record. Trying to get everything in the right format, and trying to get stuff done. At the time, we had a sound man he wanted to learn how to do recording, and then we went to a friend of ours, and I mean, I was getting home at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, this is this is enough, man. It was a long it was a long hard road on that record. So Yeah.
Yeah, literally and figuratively, right?
Yes, it was. I mean, between Jimmy and everything else that we had to go through for that record, it was definitely a long, hard road. So
So I imagine too there was some plenty of nights there was some scotch involved. Talk about our love for scotch.
our love for Scotch became one of our we were getting ready to my wife and I were getting ready to go to Ireland, Scotland, and England for in 2020. Actually, we were preparing for it. So we started trying different scotches, and then COVID hit, and that pushed our whole trip out,
Yeah.
a year or a year and a half, so in 2022 we end up doing that trip. So during that we really prepped ourselves. We drank a lot of different bottles of scotch during that time. But to be honest, I mean, when we got there, it was just so much better. It was, they're telling you about how the scotch is and stuff. So I mean, I used to be a big bourbon type guy. I used to drink Jack Daniels when I was younger. I don't drink it anymore. It
Mm.
doesn't. He's not my friend, let's just say. And I'm not his friend the next day either. So, you know. Um, so and then I did a lot of honey whiskeys and stuff that I would put in my throat teas and stuff. But when it comes down to just taking it easy and pouring a glass of scotch, I mean, I'm a the Floric and Ardbeg, and we got a couple other ones that we really like that we really enjoy drinking. And you drink them, you just kind of sip them and just relax, and I'm like, wow, no need power drink, but this last tour, I mean, I took 2 bottles of scotch. I came back with a half a bottle. No, I mean, so I did pretty good.
You did great. So, did you see or did you check out any music when you were over there for that trip?
For Rocklahoma,
No, 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 for when you went to Ireland and Scotland.
oh yeah, when we were in Ireland, we definitely went to an Irish pub and checked out some of the music.
Yeah.
And we sat and when we were in Scotland, I sat in a Scottish pub and sat there, was drinking with all the locals, and a guy that owns a record company over in England. He was there on vacation. He was like, "Yeah, you got to come over. We'll record your next record." And I was like, "That was awesome." So I mean, you never know who you're gonna meet. I mean, we just went to Paris and Spain this year, and there was a lot of cool stuff there too. So I mean, we did a lot of things, and we meet a lot of people along the way. So
I appreciate that you're a traveler because my girlfriend and I are the same way. As much as we like to, or as much as we can, we like to travel. Now,
yeah,
unfortunately, we've not made it to Europe yet, but that's on the
yeah. You don't
list.
know what you're missing until you get there.
I know,
Because we
and
we
I'm
honeymooned in Italy. So, and trust me, I didn't want to come home. So I was like, I'm staying. I was like,
that's what I'm afraid of. I know it once I go there that I'm not going to leave. So that's kind of
yeah.
why I've held off all these years. So that's what I keep telling
But I,
myself.
I I get my beaches every. We'll go to Europe, and then I get my beach vacation after that. So
Yeah,
I'm kind of a beach bum sometimes. So
yeah. Heard that, man. Heard that. So let's talk about. So you've been married to your Amy, your wife, for how long?
it'll be, well, it's 6 years. We're going on our seventh, and
Okay.
we've been together 10.
Okay.
Um, and she's amazing. I mean, when I do the band stuff, she's pretty much, cool and stays out of things because, some girls are like, I want to be your manager. Yeah, no, that's okay. We've been down that road when we
Right.
were younger. Some girls like, oh, yeah, I can do this for you. You can't do nothing. She's just dating one of the guys in the band, but she stays out. She comes to the shows when she can. She works for the VA. So she has many hats too. And she's a very, very smart woman. So she doesn't like to sit around the house either. That's why she likes to travel. That's why we always do those, Europe and, beach vacations and stuff. And like we're getting ready to spend Christmas in Vermont, so that was kind of one of my things that I wanted to do. And I finally get to do it with her. So, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, we actually we did a Montreal trip last November, and on our way back we drove through Vermont. So we went to the Von Trapp brewery. We went to Alchemist, which makes Heady Topper. I don't know if you're a craft beer guy or not, but just beautiful. It
Uh,
snowed.
some beer I could do beers sometimes, but
Yeah,
I'm a Scotch man,
yeah.
whiskey man. I drink red wine and Scotch, but and every once in a while I just feel like I get that not so fresh feeling drinking beer. So then I feel like I'm walking on the beach with my mom saying, "Hey, I don't know why, you know, I'm all bloated. Did you ever have that feeling?" So just kind of one of those things. But
Heard
at
you.
Rocklahoma, I had a bunch of beers, and I was hoping it would help for dehydration, but
So let's talk about Rocklahoma, because really, I mean, that is kind of like your pinnacle performance at this point in your career, correct?
yes, actually, to be honest, I was been trying to get us on it for a couple of years,
Yeah.
which almost every time that we would, a former member would be, "Oh, I can't do that," or something. So it would always come down to somebody not being able to do it.
Okay.
So as of 2022, I released everybody in the band except for the rhythm guitar player at the time because I was tired of nobody doing anything. They wouldn't do anything. They wouldn't promote unless they had a show. They wouldn't tell people, "Hey, check out our music, go here," or do anything. It just got to the point to where it started adding stress. Then you got these guys, creating drama on the road and stuff, and it's just like, come on, guys. I mean, you're grown ass men, act like it. After I got back from Scotland and Ireland and England, I decided to put a whole new lineup together. I pulled my rhythm guitar player in, and I hired another lead guitar player before I left. When I got back, I put a drummer and a bass player on the lineup, and 3 months later, we were in the studio working on "Die Like a Rebel," which started off really good. And the first show with the new guys was opening up for Autograph and Hurricane at the Whiskey A Go Go, which was one of the things that past members, every time we'd say, "Hey, let's do the Whiskey A Go Go," "Oh, I can't do that weekend. I can't." So I'm
It's
like,
whiskey a go
what,
go. Why are you not
what's
playing?
the point of being in a band if you don't want to travel and you don't want to do it?
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, because we're not a bar band per se. We don't play out every weekend. I mean, some of the other members have different projects that they're in that they do every weekend that they like to do and different stuff. But this band was designed to actually be a headliner or open for national acts.
Mhm.
I just don't have the time to go out and play every weekend.
Yep.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. It's great. Everybody has their own views. I mean, we don't do cover songs. We only do original music. So these guys have been, we started the Die Like a Rebel tour back, well, it's called the Resurrected tour back in end of October of 2022.
Yep.
And we started that tour. We did that. I came back, went to Mexico, came back, did an acoustic show. But while I was in Mexico, came back with COVID. So then I had the acoustic show, and then we did LA Guns at the Marquee in Phoenix, and then I caught a cold. So I was like, then I had like three more shows coming up with I had Vince Neil and Stephen Piercy and another show in Tucson. And boy, let me tell you, when you get COVID and you catch a cold, it just so my ear, nose, and throat doctor had a field day with that, and he fixed me up. So I had a few months to recover, which was really good. So we finished up the record at the end of February of 2023, and we did all the mixing, mastering, and doing all the everything else. And because I also the publisher and everything else, like I said, I'm pretty
Yeah.
much the manager, the tour manager, the booking manager. I mean, it's everything. So by the time we got everything, we decided we were going to release, because the actual record is supposed to be 4 songs, but we released Little Old Mexico ahead of time. And so the way things work, like on CD Baby, is kind of funky. So if you're going to release something, and if you're only going to release a single, you have to, have a cover for it. You have to do something different, and it has to match the music or whatever. It's kind of complex.
Okay.
So the song is actually, there's 4 songs on that CD.
Right.
We added 2 from, because we did the Unhitched record, which was released in 2021, and we released it on vinyl. And so we have a bunch of vinyl records that, if you want to purchase one for all those audio files out there. So we released that. So we decided we were going to add that to that record. So it's 6 songs on that record. So we released it in March 8th. And that first month, it went from like 0 views to 100,000 in just over a month, which was great because that means we did something right on this record. So we were really happy with it.
And obviously it sounds like you're really happy with this current lineup.
This current lineup, yes.
Yeah.
When we decided to start this tour, back in October, these guys were down to earth, and there's no drama. We all work well together, and especially when we did this last tour from Rocklahoma. We went to Colorado and Missouri and, Oklahoma and, back through, and it was chill, cool. Everybody got along. Unfortunately, our rhythm guitar player wasn't able to make the tour. And right before we left, he decided he was going to actually quit, which is okay. He wants to be with his family. He wants to do something different, which is fine. So we hired Mr. Tommy Ray. I call him the Rattlesnake. He's big, Frank Hannon type riffer type of person. So him and my lead guitar player will be splitting some leads, and it'll be really cool. So yeah, we have a great lineup. All 5 of these guys, all 5 of us got to know each other a little well on this last trip. We got to sit in a truck and have some fun and bullshit and pick on each other and drink some scotch when we got to our Airbnbs. And it was great. There was no drama, and nobody threw a hissy fit, and everybody pulled their weight. So which was great.
Yeah. A band is really a brotherhood and a family. And,
Yeah.
like quickly when one of the family members isn't like gelling with the rest of the family.
No, and that's the thing, is that you get a lot of people. And you go, I want to play with my friends, or I want to do this and stuff. It's really hard because sometimes you got expectations from people, and some of them don't necessarily do anything about those expectations. So when you
Right.
you ask them nicely to do something and say, hey, look, hey, I can use some help on this, or something like that. I've released people because they were drinking too much, or their equipment didn't work, like for many shows. And people were getting naked and running through the house in front of band members' wives. This is not acceptable. Wives don't, if they're going to come along, they don't want to see somebody else's stupid drunk ass, and people breaking down doors because their girlfriend locked them out of the room. Come on. This is not what you're supposed to do. You want to
Yeah.
be dysfunctional. Don't bring your ex-wife to your show and talk to her all night while your wife's sitting there watching you do it. Don't do this stupid stuff. That's the. So like when we did this, the rest of this tour, the wives understood they weren't coming along because it's just an added expense, and which we all were fine with. The wives were great. Everybody did good. Tommy's wife, it was their anniversary the day we played Rocklahoma. And she's like, you got to do it, go have fun. And so we all wished her, and him a happy anniversary.
Right.
So of course, he was like, thanks, Vinny, we made me look bad because I said it first and he didn't. So
Yeah.
I didn't mean to, but I love you, Tommy. Don't get me wrong. But I just thought it was kind of funny. He was like, "Thanks, you make me look bad." But that's kind of what I mean. Is like we joke around. I mean,
Yeah,
and nobody, it wasn't done on purpose. It was
yeah.
just kind of one of those things. We just had fun, and which Tommy saw firsthand too. It's just like everybody was chill,
Hmm.
you know, from Troy and Jay, the bass player and the drummer. I mean, everybody got like what they needed. Everybody did what they had to do, and nobody bitched, nobody complained, and had a great freaking time. I mean, we even played the Red Rocks, and that was on a spur of the moment type of deal. So when we were in Denver, we decided we were gonna go check out the Red Rocks and amphitheater, and we asked somebody, and they said, "Yeah, sure." And they were setting up for a band, and we grabbed our stuff and we went up there and just fucking and we did it. We had fun, and the sound engineer waited until we were done before he finished off the setting everything up. So which we really appreciate that. It was really awesome to do that, and everybody in Colorado was awesome. Herman's Hideaway. I mean, those guys loved us. They were like awesome.
Yeah, we got a chance to go to Red Rocks as well. We didn't get to see a show there, but we got to stand on stage, like look up, like that place is pretty special. Like I can imagine for a band as well as like for a fan. Like the Gorge in Washington too, like places like that. Just
Yeah,
like
I mean, there's with my wife, I mean, anytime we go somewhere, she's like, "Oh, I've been here. Let's go check this out," And some of those places I haven't been to, and it's like you get to see so many wonderful things. That's why when we all decided, as a band to go to the Red Rocks and check it out, I mean, it was just awesome. It was a surreal moment for like all of us, and playing that. And then when we got to Rocklahoma, it was spectacular. I mean, the Deb stage, we can't thank them enough. They were awesome. The booking manager for that, he was totally awesome because like I said, I've been trying to get us on that show for the last several years. And when I put my name in again, I put Dead West in again. He goes, he did it as a joke, and he goes, I hate to inform you, but you will be playing Rocklahoma this year. So at first he started off to make it sound like it wasn't going to happen, but we really appreciate everything he did. His whole staff, everybody that he did, that booking manager and the staff and everything, they were completely awesome. They helped us unload, they helped us load up. What a true professional bunch of people at Rocklahoma. It was amazing. We had so much fun. We got to see so many bands and a few boobs here and there. I mean, you gotta see, hey, yeah, there's some boobies over there. Those girls. I mean, we were just sitting there. I don't know why they decided to flash us, but
That's Rocklahoma, baby.
it was something, all right.
So so yeah, I mean, of the bands that you saw at Rocklahoma, like what was the band that stood out for you, like personally?
Well, this was a unanimous decision between all of
Okay,
the band members. Was
perfect.
we had to see Blackstone Cherry. They've I saw them quite a few years ago in a small club where I live, and I talked to all the guys, and they were really nice. Ben follows us on Instagram, and every now and then he likes our posts and stuff. And those guys are just killer. And every time they put a record out, it's even better than the last one. So that was our go to because we played the same day and we watched them and they were just spectacular. But we also got to sit backstage and watch the Skid Row show with the new singer Eric. I got to talk to him. What a great guy, really nice. And Scotty Hill. I mean, they were really cool guys, and we got to chit chat. And it was, like I said, it was an adventure that the all of us enjoyed. And it's like, how can anybody not want to do this?
And 3 years in the making, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much, and it happened. I was gonna make it happen, whether I had to go up there and lip sync. I didn't give a shit. I was gonna
Yeah,
figure something out.
yeah, yeah.
I'll hire a bunch of machines to play stuff, and I'll do it myself. I don't care. But my guys pulled through, and they busted their ass, and they worked hard because Tommy had literally 3 weeks to learn. Because on the tour we did two headlining shows and he had quite the task to do, and he pulled it off. I mean, what a stellar musician. I really appreciate it. And him and John worked tirelessly together, and I appreciate John, Tommy, and Jay and Troy. They kicked ass. I couldn't have done it without them.
That's a good way to end it, man.
Yeah.
Vinny, this has been great. I thank you so much for doing this. Yeah, guys, check out Dead West. Go to deadwestrocks.com.
Nope.
Oh,
Deadwest.rocks.
deadwest.rocks. I'm sorry. My
Yeah.
bad. I knew Rocks was in it.
Yeah. It's Deadwest.rocks. We pay a little extra for that, but it's worth it.
Hell yeah.
Because if you go to our Facebook, it's Dead West Rocks. Instagram, it's Dead West Rocks. So yeah, Deadwest.rocks. You can check us out there. Check out our music. You can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, Apple. I mean, we're on all streaming services. Feel free to check us out and buy some merch. I mean, we got a bunch of merch. We got bikinis, we got shirts. I'll probably be updating for some hoodies and all that good stuff. We got bomber jackets and all kinds of good stuff. So
good stuff. Hell yeah, man. Well, guys, I've been Dogg. You've been great. This is the Music Lab podcast.
all right.